Friends, gather round, for we must discuss the latest plot twist in the ongoing saga that is global trade. Our protagonist, President Trump, known for his penchant for tariffs, has once again sent shockwaves through the international community. Just days ago, he threatened to slap hefty tariffs on our neighbors to the north and south, Canada and Mexico. The reason? You guessed it, something to do with borders and drugs. But fear not, dear listeners, for now, a temporary truce has been declared. Trump has agreed to a 30-day pause on these tariffs, giving everyone a moment to breathe and, more importantly, giving us time to unpack this whole mess. Now you might be wondering, why the sudden change of heart? Well, it seems our southern and northern neighbors have agreed to play ball, at least for now. They've made certain commitments to appease the tariff-wielding president, promises that involve border security, drug enforcement, and maybe even a strongly worded letter or two. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This tariff timeout is just that, a timeout. The clock is ticking, and the fate of our economic future hangs in the balance. Will this reprieve lead to a lasting resolution, or is it merely the calm before the storm? Buckle up, folks, because things are about to get interesting. Let's start with Mexico, shall we? President Sheinbaum, never one to back down from a challenge, has vowed to deploy 10,000 National Guard troops to Mexico's border with the United States. That's right, folks. 10,000 troops to tackle the issue that Trump seems to care about most: immigration. Mexico has also pledged to crack down on the flow of illegal firearms across its borders, particularly those high-powered weapons that somehow always seem to find their way into the wrong hands. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't gun control supposed to be our problem, not Mexico's? And you wouldn't be wrong. But hey, who are we to look a gift horse in the mouth, right? Mexico is stepping up, taking one for the team, all in the name of avoiding those pesky tariffs. Whether these measures will actually have any real impact on the issues at hand remains to be seen. But for now, it seems to be enough to keep the tariff wolf from the door. At least for another 30 days. Not to be outdone, Canada, our friendly neighbor to the north, has also stepped up to the plate, albeit with a slightly different set of promises. Prime Minister Trudeau, known for his charming demeanor and impressive hair game, has made some commitments of his own. Canada has agreed to appoint a fentanyl czar, a title that sounds like it belongs in a fantasy novel, but actually refers to a high-ranking official tasked with tackling the opioid crisis. But wait, there's more. Canada has also pledged to designate Mexican drug cartels as terrorist organizations, a move that sounds tough but might not actually change much in practice. And if that wasn't enough, they've also promised to launch a joint US-Canada strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl trafficking, and money laundering. It's a veritable buffet of law enforcement initiatives, all designed to appease the tariff-happy president. Whether these measures will be enough to satisfy Trump's demands remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, Canada is not taking this tariff threat lying down. They're putting up a fight, eh? So, we've covered Mexico and Canada, but what about the rest of the world? Well, my friends, the tariff saga doesn't end there. China, the target of Trump's previous trade wars, is still feeling the heat. Those tariffs imposed earlier? Yeah, they're still in effect. And, to make matters worse, Trump has now set his sights on a new target, the European Union. That's right, folks. The EU, our allies across the pond, are now in the crosshairs. Trump has made it clear that he's not afraid to use tariffs as a weapon, a bargaining chip in his quest for what he calls fair trade. But many experts warn that these tariffs could have unintended consequences, potentially harming the very economy they're supposed to protect. Higher prices for consumers, job losses in certain industries, and retaliation from other countries are just some of the potential downsides. The global trade game is a complex and delicate dance, and Trump's aggressive moves have thrown things into disarray. Only time will tell what the ultimate consequences of his tariff tactics will be. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be a bumpy ride.